swear to God, if you buy a crew member a few packs of noodles, they will be your friend forever. Hey sailors, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. So today we are going to watch some TikToks. I'm very excited. I have watched probably the first second of each of these TikToks to know to download them and add them to my watch list, but I haven't watched them all the way through, so me and you both are going to be surprised and we're going to be commenting on them and just enjoying it basically. Anyway, I hope you are all doing well. I hope you've had a lovely week and I hope you have got a cup of tea and you're ready to watch some videos with me.
There's one job on a cruise ship that every single crew member has to do no matter what department they're in. Even if you're a musician, a photographer, a dancer, you have to be part of the emergency response team. Every week we hold a drill so that we know what we're doing in case of an emergency. And we have secret codes for different emergencies such as fires and man overboard so that the guests don't get scared.
I always said that, guests used to come up to me and be like, why are there code names? I'm like, can you imagine if the captain came over the tannoy and was like, fire, fire, fire. So instead they say, a lot of ships use Bravo, but obviously every cruise line has different code names, otherwise they wouldn't be very code.
Cruise ships are so much like little cities that it's easy to forget sometimes that you're in the middle of the ocean. Quite scary to think about actually. I'm going to stop thinking about it now. Bye.
Yeah. So I've said this in many videos before. You have your job that you were hired to do when you work on a cruise ship, but you also have a second job, and that is the safety duties. Depending on what your job is will depend on what your safety duty is. Maybe you're a lifeboat attendant, maybe you're a stairway attendant, maybe you are making sure that people have evacuated their cabin, and some would say that that job is even more important than the job that you were hired to do.
Well, you got COVID on a cruise ship, and you wonder what's next. First thing...
This is Brian. If you have not watched Brian's TikToks, I mean, I'm sure you have, because he posts on Instagram, he also posts on YouTube. He's brilliant, so definitely go and give Brian a follow. He is fantastic.
First, they're going to put you in a quarantine room. Looks like this, just like a normal room, except you can't leave it. Then they're going to deliver your food to you, and here...
I'm just going to say this. He's very lucky to be quarantining in that room. He's obviously on his own. He's got a double bed. I have quarantined in much nastier rooms. I'm sure Brian has. I'm sure he just got lucky this time. But usually if you're a crew member and you're quarantining, you will be quarantining in the cabin that you share with another person, and they will generally move the other person. They'll move your roommate who is not yet sick, and you will have to stay in your bunk bed cabin. It's not fun. You get plain rice and a banana delivered to your cabin once a day, if the medical staff remember. It's not a good time.
Yeah, and here's what dinner looks like tonight. Tasty, delicious. After your meal, you've got access to a whole host of entertainment.
That meal looked okay for a quarantining meal. As I said, whenever I've quarantined before, which, thank the Lord, has not been too often, I have literally been given a tray of plain rice and a banana. And bread. They'll give you 2 slices of white bread, because dry foods. So the fact that he got dessert, Brian is winning.
Of entertainment on this lovely TV here. Let's see what's on tonight. And then you just repeat this for 10 days straight. Sounds fun, huh?
Honestly, being sick on a cruise ship is one of the worst things. I hated going to the medical centre on a cruise ship because, don't get me wrong, I had some fine experiences. I'm not going to say good, but some ships' medical centres were a lot better than others. But yeah, being ill on a cruise ship as a crew member is I don't recommend it. I really don't recommend it. It's not good. Oh. Yeah, I can't even lie, that's what it's like. I must have said it before. I mean, there's a million things that's difficult about working on a cruise ship, but one thing is that obviously you live where you work, so your manager can always get hold of you. They obviously know where you live, they know where your cabin is. So this does happen. You know, you sometimes find yourself going to your cabin thinking you're going to have half an hour to just lie down and close your eyes, and then your manager calls, or the hotel director calls, or someone calls, and they need you to be at a certain place to help with something, and it's like, please, I just want to lie down. It made me feel things watching that I never want to feel again. Girl, hold in there. You have only got 8 months left of your contract, probably. And this is what I mean when I say that you can never switch off when you work on a cruise ship. So I think I've compared it in the past to being a television left on standby rather than being like actually switched off at the wall, because you never leave. You have a job on land, you go home, you're home. And if your manager calls you on your day off, there's something severely wrong. Whereas on a cruise ship, you never leave, so actually you're never not at work. So you can never fully switch off. You're always ready to jump out of bed, just like she was. She thought she was going to have a few minutes to relax, and then she was like, oh no, gotta go back. So I truly believe that is why working on cruise ships is so exhausting. Like, if you were working long hours but somehow you were able to fully switch off when you went back to your cabin or whatever, I don't think it would be as exhausting. But the fact that you can never switch off, it's draining. I think I've said in the past 5 months is the sweet spot for a contract, and I stand by that. Like, 5 months, you can still push through the tiredness, but you're not as good as you were 3 months ago. And I mean, when you're 7, 8, 9 months in, I mean, don't even talk to me. Do not even look in my direction. I just want to go home and I want to go to bed. And judging by her size and just how fed up she is, I'm gonna say she's on like her 7 months.
Welcome to a day in the life of working on board a cruise ship. Today is the day at sea, and honestly I'm so tired. I really didn't want to get up today, but I really wanted to work out this morning. First thing I always do is check my deck phone because I'm really bad at answering calls, and then I went to go brush my teeth.
So deck phones are mainly only given to higher ranking crew because it's a mobile phone on a cruise ship. I always wanted a deck phone, and then I got a deck phone in my last job, and I was like, why? Because it never stops ringing. It never stops ringing. At least if people can only get hold of you via your cabin phone, then if you're not in your cabin, you're not going to get the call. But when you like go up a level and you're a higher ranking crew member or an officer and you have a deck phone and people can get hold of you all the time. You know, when you're a lower ranking crew member and you look at someone like the cruise director or the hotel director, obviously you understand that they have an immense amount of responsibility. They're looking after hundreds of people. Depending on the size of the cruise ship, it might be thousands. So respect is due anyway. Of course, you don't realise the amount of shit they have to deal with because you're not in that position. But when I moved up just like half a stripe, I was like, this is only a glimpse into what a hotel director or a cruise director has to deal with, and I don't want this. This is not fun, because as I said, that phone was ringing non-stop and people get your number. Like, I remember for some reason reception on one of the cruise ships I was on had my deck phone number listed down as like the maintenance guys, and the maintenance team, you know, if a toilet's blocked or if a sink's broke or if a door hinge has come off, you call maintenance, they'll go and fix it. So I was getting like calls off the hook.
Can you go and fix this? And I was like,
no, I would love to help you, but I don't know how to fix a door back on the wall. I would be useless. And it took them a good while for them to take this number off their list. So I honestly would get calls at like 2 in the morning sometimes. And I'm like, I still can't fix the door. Sorry. Oh yeah, so just sorry, we haven't even got through this whole video and I've just gone on a whole rant about having a deck phone.
But yeah, I'm not looking too hot this morning. Today I decided to go work out on the jogging track because you only have to go a little more than 2 times around to hit a mile. Every time I try to take something out of my closet, of course, everything just falls out. Here's me all ready to go to the jogging track. It's a little bit chilly up there in the mornings. And you can't forget to turn off the lights to save the waves. This is my normal morning commute. I live on 23rd Street, and that's my favorite watertight door. My cabin is on deck 1, which is technically below the water line, and you also have to walk through the crew mess to get out of there. I love the jogging track on Oasis-class ships. This is the inside of a lifeboat, in case you were wondering. Dude, look at these views. It's amazing just to be able to wake up and see this every day. At the end of the jogging track, you can go up to the guest fitness center. Here's Val. She's on my team. Look at her working so hard in the gym. After working out, I ate breakfast in the crew mess. I like to eat a lot of protein for breakfast, so I got some eggs, beans, and added protein powder to my oatmeal. At 9 o'clock, I had to be at a private video shoot for the water slides. Honestly, this was so fun. I now do social media on board. I used to be in entertainment, but truly, social media is entertainment, so it's always the same fun vibes. The shoot went really well, and then I headed to meet the rest of my team for a meeting. Of course, we were interrupted by the captain's noon announcement.
It's interesting that she says she does social media. Maybe like Royal Caribbean have bought a social media team on board some of the ships, because I know that recently, well, not too recently, but a bit ago, they released a statement saying that crew members cannot post anything on social media, which is a strange move. But then if they've hired their own like social media team, then I guess that makes a little more sense, because they have full control over like what gets released. For example, if she's doing social media about living on board, the cruise line will have obviously approved this, whereas some crew members who are posting their life on board, Royal Caribbean doesn't really get a say in that before it goes up. I think that's how it works. I mean, Virgin were incredibly hands-off with me. They were wonderful. They just trusted me to not say anything bad. No, I mean, you guys know that I loved it. I really didn't have anything bad to say. But yeah, they were really, really supportive, but Virgin is still really like ahead of the times with that. Like, cruise lines are still not ultra social media friendly, especially when it comes to crew posting. So it's going to be interesting to see what people like Chris Wong does, and Brian, his video we just watched. Because if Royal Caribbean are putting a block on what people post, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects things, but we'll see.
On the right side of the ship, the starboard side,
We had a planning production meeting when here we are getting very delirious. And then I had a little break, so I went up to Central Park to get some fresh air, and I found my friend Earl, who's a lounge tech on board, and we set up the band. Later, I found my manager in the corner up by the Flow Rider because we had a Flow Rider shoot, and this was so much fun. Tonight, we treated ourselves to a specialty dinner in Izumi. It's the sushi restaurant on board. Here was our mochi ice cream. And then at the end of the night, I hung out in the crew bar with some friends, and we really had a good dance party. It's now about 1 a.m., and I decided to finally go to bed. Bye!
Good morning, it's breakfast time. Alam mo na, vlogger yan. Welcome to my vlog. Sorry. Hi Renz! Good morning! Of course. Ang mga itlog.
I am not gonna lie, seeing that mess food does not... I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. That sad cheese platter. And trust when I say the cheese tasted like an eraser, so...
At arroz caldo. Yogurt. Meron dito sausage, boiled egg, arroz caldo, and milk. Having fried rice, my bacon, my ham, my scrambled eggs, my breakfast potato, my corned beef, my baked beans, my French toast, at meron kaming pancake.
Ay, ng breakfast! Because breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right?
She's very cute.
Some of you thought my cabin was small. This is a single share crew cabin. So on some of the more modern cruise ships, you have what's called single share, which means that you share the bathroom with the adjoining cabin, which is identical to yours. The bathroom is the toilet with the shower over it, like I talked about, but you do get your own medicine cabinet and sink in your cabin. Your cabin has a pull-down bed, and it has everything else that you could possibly need. You have a little refrigerator, you have your own television, you have plenty of storage. But traditionally on a cruise ship, your crew cabin is going to be a bunk bed situation, so you don't have the luxury of any kind of privacy, really. So this is really nice.
I have never been a fan of the pull-down bed. That is a Royal Caribbean cabin on one of the bigger ships. Nah. I mean, the Virgin... Like, you guys saw my cabin on Virgin. If you didn't, I'll link some videos down below. It was actually probably smaller than that, but personally, I really liked the fact that the bed was in position and I didn't have to flip it up and flip it down. This would drive me nuts, honestly. Some people like it because they're like, well, I can flip the bed up and I have more space. I mean, you don't really have more space. Let's be honest. You still just have a walkway. At least with the Virgin Voyages cabin, you could use your bed as a sofa, which I did a lot. I used to film all of my videos on the bed. Whereas because this bed is quite high up, it's like a bunk bed, you can't... I mean, obviously you can sit on it, but you have to, like, jump up on it. I don't know, this cabin is not it. I feel like a lot of the Royal Caribbean ships, it feels like they put loads of effort into the passenger areas, and then when it comes to the crew areas, they just threw shit at a wall and saw what stuck. You would have thought they'd have actually perfected the crew areas by now, but they have not, because let me tell you, this is not it. This is not it.
So what happens when you're in the middle of the ocean working on a cruise ship and you run out of shower gel? Well, we have this secret little shop down below where it's just for crew only and we can buy all our basic stuff. Imagine it like your little corner shop back home. You can buy anything. You can buy...
Cruise shop's great. Cruise shop is... Well, actually, some cruise shops are great. The one on Harmony of the Seas was really good. Virgin was not good. Virgin's cruise shop was awful. Disney's was okay. But yeah, it's where you get your basics. So you're not going to obviously find all of your brands in there. But they do sell like maybe 2 brands of deodorant, 2 brands of shampoo, 2 brands of moisturiser. And it's just for those crew members who don't have time to get off in port. Prices are usually pretty good, actually. They don't hike up the prices for crew. Everything's usually very reasonable. Like, I never remember paying more than I would have to pay at a supermarket for a product. So that's good. On most cruise lines, they do tend to keep the cruise shop cheap.
Instant coffee, you can buy frappuccinos. One of the most popular snacks for sure is noodles, and everything's pretty cheap.
Oh my god, so every embarkation day, so let's say a cruise ship does a week's cruise and their embarkation day is every Sunday. So the cruise shop gets restocked every Sunday, and I'm not joking, by Monday night the noodles are gone. Every crew member goes there because they know it's restock day and they just buy it out. Like, every crew member buys like 5 packs of noodles, because if you're a crew member and you're not an officer, the mess is pretty average at best, especially in the evening. So what a lot of cruise lines do is the mess opens again at like 12 at night, because some crew members like don't finish their shift till like 11:30, even though they would have got a dinner break at a more reasonable hour. Obviously some people like to eat that late, but the mess is truly abysmal at that time. So what a lot of crew members do is they buy themselves some noodles, so then they can have a nice noodly late night snack when they get back to their cabin at 11:30. So actually there's a lot of you who always ask, what can I buy crew members? And I'm not gonna lie, get them some noodles. I have never met a crew member who does not like a pack of noodles. I swear to God, if you buy a crew member a few packs of noodles, they will be your friend forever.
These sausages are just $1. You can buy all your basic toiletries like toothpaste, like shower gel, like shaving foam, like toothbrushes, and everything to do laundry, like laundry tablets. Unlike back home, we don't use cash, we use our ship cards that are linked to our onboard accounts. And at the minute we're doing a 7-day crossing across the Atlantic, and Brian bought the biggest bag of chips he could find. What snack should I buy for the crossing? Let me know in the comments below.
inspection day on this cruise ship is the one day a week when the officers come down from the bridge and walk through all the crew hallways and they come and inspect our cabins.
Yeah, they do. It's pretty anxiety inducing. Actually, no, it's not. Only if your cabin is a mess, which...
Before 10 a.m., crew members are expected to be standing outside of their cabins to allow the inspection to take place.
Everyone will go to drill at 9 a.m. and then at 10 a.m. a select few cabins will be inspected. It is picked randomly, so everyone's cabin can be inspected, but obviously not every cabin will be inspected because that would take the officers a very long time. But you just have to have your cabin ready in case your cabin is selected. So it has to be cleaned, it has to be hoovered, your bed has to be made, there can be no dairy in your fridge if you have a fridge. The TV has to be off, the remote has to be in a visible place, the shower head has to be cleaned. Like, I remember like once every month we all had to take our shower head into work and like put it in this chemical that I think disinfected the shower head. Now I think about it, it's pretty weird that one day we would all just walk into work with our shower head, but it's what you do. And it seems normal because everyone's doing it. Your shower curtain had to be clean, obviously your bathroom had to be clean, and you have to put your life jacket on your bed with the hat and like the strap done up. And everything had to be working properly, like your lights, the ventilation in your cabin. There's quite a lot of things that you had to take into account. And if you fail cabin inspection, it's not the end of the world. You just get a bit of a slap on the wrist from your manager, obviously not literally, but if you keep failing cabin inspection, then that will eventually lead to more serious disciplinary actions.
I've never failed cabin inspection. However, ever since becoming a manager, I'm one of the designated crew members that goes around doing what we call crew rounds. I get a designated area where I have to enter each crew member's cabin and inspect it for cleanliness and any defaults, also making sure that life jackets are stored properly because safety first. If I'm not inspecting, then my cabin is being inspected. Having your emergency card on your bed with your life jacket is crucial, otherwise they will fail you. Normally, cabin inspection only happens on crew drill days, which is a whole other topic for another day. This week it was a random cabin inspection early in the morning. It kind of feels militaristic, but I guess that's what it kind of is, as they've got to run a tight ship around here.
I like that, they've got to run a tight ship. They do, and it is similar to the military, like in some ways, but it's just what you got to do. I mean, you have to maintain your cabin's cleanliness because after all, you're only going to be there for 6 months and then someone else is going to move in. So there can't be dairy in your fridge left and things going mouldy because it's a health issue for you, but also when you do eventually leave that cabin, you can't leave it in a really disgusting state for the next person. So it's just easier if you keep your cabin maintained, and that is what cabin inspection is meant to prompt you to do. Well, it does prompt you to do it because you get in trouble if you don't. So that you know, there are consequences for not keeping your cabin in ship shape, pun intended. Anyway, I have been filming for a very long time, so I am going to call this video quits, but I do have more videos to react to, so let me know if you enjoyed this and you want to see another one and I will film it for you, or definitely let me know like what else you want to see. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Mwah!